The observation deck hummed with nervous energy as Commander Zhao reviewed the holding cell footage for the third time. In Cell 7, the alien girl, designation Luna, crouched in the corner like a wounded animal, her luminescent skin flickering between deep purple and angry crimson. Her crystalline hair floated around her head as if suspended in water, reacting to every sound, every movement beyond the reinforced walls. "She's killed 2 handlers already," Zhao muttered, not looking away from the screen. 3 more are in medical with severe lacerations. "Then why are we putting another human in there?" Lieutenant Park asked, her hand instinctively moving to the plasma rifle at her hip. "Because Max volunteered." Zhao finally turned to face her, and because he's the only xenobiologist left who thinks she's not feral at all. Max stood outside Cell 7, his heartbeat steady despite the dried bloodstains still visible on the floor inside. Through the transparent aluminum barrier, he could see Luna watching him with eyes that held too many colors to name, eyes that tracked his every breath with predatory focus. "Dr. Reed?" Zhao's voice crackled through his earpiece. "You have 72 hours to prove your theory. If she attacks, the automated defense systems will activate. They won't distinguish between you and her." Max placed his palm against the barrier. Luna's head tilted, a gesture so human it made his chest ache. "She's not feral," he said quietly. "She's terrified." The door hissed open. Max stepped inside without hesitation, and the universe held its breath. Luna's colors flashed violent red, her muscles coiling for a strike that everyone watching knew would be lethal. Max had seen the autopsy reports. Her claws could slice through Kevlar like tissue paper, and her strength was triple that of a human male. He sat down cross-legged on the floor, 3 meters away from her, and simply waited. Hours passed. Luna didn't move. Max didn't move. The observation team rotated shifts, whispering bets about how long the crazy xenobiologist would last. But Max understood something they didn't, something his months studying Valerian behavioral patterns had taught him. Luna wasn't feral. She was communicating. Every color shift, every movement of her crystalline hair, every subtle change in the bioluminescent patterns across her skin, it was language. Complex, nuanced, desperate language that humans had been too afraid to learn. On his datapad, Max began mapping the patterns. Purple with blue undertones, distress. Red with orange flickers, defensive warning. When she caught him watching, analyzing, her colors shifted to something new. A soft amber that pulsed like a question. Max slowly raised his hand, palm out, and touched his chest. "Max," he said softly. Luna's eyes widened. The amber deepened, swirled with curious green. He pointed to her, his movement careful, non-threatening. Luna. The name had been assigned by the military, pulled from some database, but when Max said it, Luna's entire body shimmered with colors he'd never seen before, soft violets and warm golds that reminded him of sunrise. She moved closer. Just 1/2 meter, but it was enough to make the observation deck erupt in urgent whispers. Max's earpiece exploded with commands to retreat, to freeze, to prepare for attack. He removed the earpiece and set it aside. For the next 2 days, Max and Luna existed in their own universe. He learned that the aggressive red wasn't anger, it was fear manifesting as defensive posturing. That the purple wasn't madness, it was grief so profound it had no human equivalent. Luna's ship had crashed on a colony moon. She'd been the only survivor. The attacks on the handlers? They'd been trying to force sedate her, to strap her down, to take samples of her tissue. To her, they were torturers, monsters. Max taught her that not all humans were monsters. He showed her pictures of Earth, oceans and forests and mountains. Luna's colors softened to peaceful blues and greens, and she began making sounds, melodic and strange, that might have been words in her own language. Max recorded everything, his scientific mind cataloging while his heart broke for her loneliness. On the 3rd morning, Max woke to find Luna sitting beside him. Not crouching, not coiled for attack, sitting. Her crystalline hair had settled into a soft wave down her back, now glowing with gentle silver light. She was humming that same melodic sound, and her hand, claws carefully retracted, was hovering just above his arm. Slowly, giving her every chance to pull away, Max moved his hand to cover hers. Luna's colors exploded into brilliant gold and white, patterns racing across her skin like shooting stars. If he didn't know better, he'd have called it joy. That night, exhausted from days of careful communication and breakthrough after breakthrough in understanding Valerian linguistics, Max fell asleep sitting against the wall. He didn't wake when Luna approached, her movement silent despite her size. He didn't wake when she so carefully curled against him, her head coming to rest on his chest. But he did wake when Commander Zhao and her security team burst through the door at dawn, weapons raised, ready to extract him from the feral alien. Max's arm tightened protectively around Luna, who stirred but didn't wake, her colors a peaceful lavender that pulsed in time with his heartbeat. "Lower your weapons," he said, his voice carrying an authority that surprised even himself. Now, the security team froze, eyes wide at the impossible scene before them. "She's not feral," Max continued, looking down at Luna's sleeping form with undisguised tenderness. "She never was. She's scared, grieving, and impossibly far from home. She's a person, Commander, and we've been treating her like a specimen." Luna's eyes fluttered open, reflecting the harsh lights of the cell that now seemed far less cold than they had 72 hours ago. She looked up at Max, then at the armed humans surrounding them. Her skin rippled with nervous yellow, but she didn't attack. Instead, she pressed closer to Max, seeking comfort from the one human who had bothered to listen. "We're going to do this differently," Max said, his hand gentle on Luna's shoulder. "I'll need a proper xenolinguistics lab, full diplomatic protocols, and someone from the Council who actually understands first contact procedures. Because that's what this is, Commander. First contact. And humanity needs to do better." Commander Zhao stared at the interspecies tableau before her, the human scientist and the alien, girl who trusted him enough to sleep, and slowly lowered her weapon. "Stand down," she ordered her team. Then, with something that might have been respect in her eyes, she looked at Max. "I'll make the calls. Dr. Reed, it seems we have a lot to learn." Luna's colors shifted to that beautiful gold again, and Max knew that humanity had just taken its first real step toward the stars.